Cheese gets a bad reputation. Too fatty, too salty, too indulgent. But what if I told you that certain cheeses, when chosen wisely, could actually help rebuild your muscles after 65? According to recent studies, nearly 1 in 3 adults over the age of 60 suffers from sarcopenia, a silent condition where muscles shrink year after year. Many seniors don't even realize it's happening until they suddenly struggle to climb stairs, carry groceries, or simply get up from a chair. That weakness is not just aging. It's a warning sign. In Japan, where longevity is among the highest in the world, researchers noticed something surprising. Seniors who eat carefully selected dairy foods in moderation maintain stronger legs and independence much longer. Instead of fearing cheese, they treat the right kind as a tool, a simple, everyday ally for strength. And here's the truth most people never hear. With the right portions and timing, cheese can become one of the most effective foods for preserving muscle after 65. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Stick with me to the end, and I'll show you exactly how to enjoy them for maximum strength and minimum risk. Let me start with cottage cheese. And I know what you might be thinking. Cottage cheese might remind you of those old diet plans from the 80s, but this humble cheese is actually one of the most powerful muscle-building foods available to older adults. In fact, just half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese gives you about 14 grams of protein for only 81 calories. That means nearly 70% of its calories come from protein, which is far higher than many common cheeses. When we compare it with cheddar, where protein makes up only about a quarter of the calories, the difference becomes clear. Cottage cheese stands in a league of its own when it comes to efficiency. But protein quantity is only part of the story. Cottage cheese is packed with leucine, an amino acid that acts like a switch for muscle growth. As we age, our muscles don't respond as easily to protein, and it takes more leucine to trigger repair and growth. One serving of cottage cheese provides roughly 1/3 of the daily leucine an older adult needs at each meal. Now, here's where I want to bring in the Japanese perspective. In Japan, meals are often designed with balance in mind. Small, protein-rich portions spread throughout the day instead of one heavy dinner. A bowl of rice might be paired with tofu, fish, or natto in the morning. If we apply that principle, cottage cheese fits perfectly. Having it early in the day, even at breakfast, sets up your muscles for better recovery all day long. Many seniors complain that chewing steak or chicken becomes harder with age. Appetite also tends to decline, which makes it difficult to reach protein goals. Cottage cheese solves both issues. It's soft, easy to swallow, and gentle on digestion. You can eat it straight, mix it with fresh fruit, or blend it into a smoothie where you barely notice the flavor. What makes it unique is the type of protein it carries: casein. This is a slow-digesting protein that releases amino acids steadily over 6 to 8 hours. Think of it as a time-release muscle protector, keeping your body fueled even when you're not eating. This is especially valuable at night. If you eat a small bowl before bed, your muscles are less likely to break down while you sleep. Studies have backed this up. In groups of older adults who included cottage cheese daily, there were significant gains in lean muscle mass over time. Even those who weren't exercising much saw better maintenance of muscle compared to those who skipped it. The slow and steady supply of amino acids from casein proved especially helpful. So, how can you bring it into your daily meals? For breakfast, pair it with berries and a touch of honey. The combination gives you protein plus antioxidants. If you prefer savory, mix it with chopped cucumber, tomatoes, and fresh herbs. At lunch, use it as a base for dips or spreads. At dinner, it can replace ricotta in casseroles or pasta dishes. If the texture feels odd at first, blend it into a smoothie with banana or berries. You won't even notice it's there, but your muscles will. Some people even swap mayonnaise in their chicken or tuna salad with cottage cheese. It lightens the meal, but keeps the protein high. From my perspective, this is a very Japanese way of eating. Simple, flexible, and mindful of balance. They often say food should work quietly for your body. Cottage cheese is exactly that. It doesn't scream with flavor, but it delivers what your muscles need consistently. For best results, aim for half a cup to 1 cup a day. Morning is the most effective time. After fasting overnight, your body is in a state where it's ready to absorb protein quickly. Starting the day with cottage cheese primes your muscles for growth and repair. It's like giving your body the tools it needs before you even step out the door. And remember, small habits repeated daily create the biggest results. The Japanese secret to longevity is not about extremes, but about steady, balanced choices that add up over decades. If you treat cottage cheese the same way, not as a diet trick, but as a daily ally, your muscles will thank you. The second powerhouse, Parmesan cheese, concentrated nutrition. Now, let's talk about our second muscle-building champion. And this one might surprise you. It's Parmesan cheese, the aged Italian classic that's far more than just a topping for pasta. Just a small piece, about the size of your thumb, gives you over 10 grams of complete protein. That's one of the highest protein concentrations you'll find in any cheese. For older adults who may eat less than they used to, this concentrated nutrition is incredibly valuable. It means even a modest serving can deliver what your muscles need without overwhelming your stomach. But here's where Parmesan becomes even more fascinating. During its long aging process, natural enzymes slowly break down the proteins into smaller, easier to digest pieces. It's almost as if the cheese has been gently pre-digested for you. This matters because many seniors find heavy protein foods hard on the stomach. Parmesan slips through that barrier with ease. And there's another benefit. After 2 years of proper aging, real Parmesan contains virtually no lactose. That makes it safe for most people who struggle with milk or softer cheeses. In Japan, where many older adults also deal with lactose sensitivity, foods like miso or fermented soy are valued because they are gentler on digestion. Parmesan plays a similar role in the Western diet, rich but easy on the body. Parmesan also shines when it comes to calcium. A single ounce provides about 331 milligrams, roughly a quarter of what you need in a day. And while we often think of calcium only for bones, muscles also rely on it. Every contraction your muscles make requires calcium. Without it, protein alone can't do its job. Research now shows that seniors who fall short on calcium are more likely to lose muscle mass as they age. So, with Parmesan, you're feeding both your bones and your muscles at once. Now, I understand the concern. Authentic Parmesan, the kind stamped with Parmigiano Reggiano, isn't cheap. But because it's so nutrient-dense, you don't need much. 1 to 2 ounces a day is plenty. And when you grate it fresh, you'll notice how little it takes to transform a meal. That richness means satisfaction with smaller amounts. In the long run, it balances out. Here's how you can make it practical. In the morning, grate it over scrambled eggs. That simple touch gives you more than 20 grams of protein to start the day. At lunch, sprinkle it on soup or salad. At dinner, shave it over roasted vegetables like broccoli or cauliflower. You can even enjoy small chunks as a snack with nuts or fruit. Pairing protein with healthy fats or natural sugars gives you steady energy, much like a balanced Japanese meal with fish, rice, and pickled vegetables. Think about this. Japanese centenarians often eat with intention, small portions but high nutrient density. Parmesan works the same way. It may be rich, but it's concentrated, and when used mindfully, it supports strength rather than weighing you down. One more tip: avoid the pre-grated containers at the store. They may be convenient, but they lack the flavor and often contain fillers that take away from the nutrition. Freshly grated Parmesan not only tastes better, but also encourages you to eat less because the flavor is so deep and satisfying. To me, Parmesan is the perfect example of how aging foods can actually help with aging bodies. As time passes, the cheese matures, becoming easier to digest and richer in nutrients. In a way, it mirrors what we need in later life. Foods that are gentle yet strong, modest yet powerful. If you make Parmesan a small daily habit, you'll discover it doesn't just elevate your meals, it strengthens your body. It's a quiet ally, much like green tea or fermented soybeans in the Japanese tradition. Simple, steady, and effective over time. The third secret weapon, ricotta cheese, the fast-acting muscle builder. Our third muscle-building cheese is ricotta. And this one has a very special secret that makes it unique among all cheeses. Ricotta is made from whey, the liquid left behind after making other cheeses, and that gives it incredible muscle-building properties. Unlike most cheeses, which are rich in casein and digest slowly, ricotta contains a high amount of whey protein. Whey is absorbed by the body much faster, sometimes within just 30 to 60 minutes. For older adults, this speed really matters. Imagine finishing a walk around the block or tending your garden. At that moment, your muscles are ready to repair, and whey protein delivers nutrition right when it's needed most. Half a cup of whole milk ricotta offers about 14 grams of protein, similar to cottage cheese, but with a different balance of amino acids. It's especially rich in BCAAs, branched-chain amino acids, which travel directly to muscle tissue without being processed by the liver. That means they get to work immediately, repairing fibers and supporting new growth. Here's where I connect this to the Japanese way of eating. In Okinawa, one of the world's blue zones, meals are often designed to restore the body after activity. Seniors there eat miso soup or tofu soon after gardening or walking. Ricotta can play the same role in our diet. The timing of protein matters just as much as the source. Another reason ricotta is senior-friendly is its soft, creamy texture. Many people in their 70s or 80s struggle with chewing or swallowing tougher foods. Ricotta glides down easily and blends with both sweet and savory dishes. It's naturally mild, so it doesn't overpower other ingredients. That's why it fits into so many meals. Ricotta is also lower in sodium than most cheeses, with only about 100 milligrams per half cup. Compare that to many other cheeses with 4 times as much salt. For seniors watching blood pressure, that makes ricotta a safe option. And here's something even more exciting. Studies show that eating ricotta daily not only increases muscle mass, but also improves balance and physical performance. Within just 3 months, many participants saw measurable gains in strength. There's also a hidden bonus. The whey protein in ricotta has been linked to lower blood pressure and better cardiovascular health. So when you eat ricotta, you're not just building stronger muscles, you're protecting your heart at the same time. That kind of two-in-one benefit is very much in line with the Japanese philosophy of food as medicine. Now let's talk about how to use it. For breakfast, spread ricotta on whole grain toast with a drizzle of honey and a pinch of cinnamon. It's like cream cheese, but with far more protein. For lunch, mix it with herbs, and use it as a dip for vegetables or a spread in sandwiches. At dinner, stuff it into peppers or zucchini, or stir it into pasta sauces for extra creaminess. And yes, you can even make desserts. Blend ricotta with cocoa powder and a little honey for a light chocolate mousse, or with berries, for a refreshing smoothie. When buying ricotta, choose whole milk versions for better satiety and muscle support. Low-fat types have fewer calories, but they also provide less of the key nutrients your muscles need. Look for simple labels: milk, vinegar or citric acid, and salt. The cleaner the ingredient list, the better. The best time to eat ricotta is within 2 hours after any physical activity. It doesn't have to be formal exercise. Even light chores like sweeping the floor, watering plants, or climbing stairs count. Your muscles become more receptive during this window, and ricotta provides the perfect quick-acting fuel. Think about it this way. In Japanese culture, small rituals of eating are tied to moments in daily life. After a walk, there might be tea and a light snack. If you treat ricotta as that post-activity snack, you'll notice how your energy and balance improve. To me, ricotta is proof that food can be gentle and powerful at the same time. It doesn't demand much chewing, it doesn't overwhelm the taste buds, yet it works quickly where your body needs it most. For older adults aiming to live longer, healthier, and more independent lives, this is exactly the kind of food worth keeping in the fridge. Now that you know which cheeses to eat, let's talk about when to eat them. Because timing can make a huge difference in how well they work for you. Many people believe that dinner should be the biggest meal of the day, but when it comes to muscle health after 60, breakfast may actually be the most important opportunity. Think about it. After 8 to 10 hours of sleep, your body has been in a fasting state. During that time, muscle tissue is being broken down to provide energy. Your first meal of the day can flip the switch, from muscle loss to muscle building. Studies now show that seniors who eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast maintain stronger muscles throughout the day compared to those who start with just coffee and toast. Here's the problem. Most people over 65 only get about 8 grams of protein at breakfast, far below the amount needed to trigger muscle growth. This is where the 3 cheeses we just talked about can become powerful allies. For example, half a cup of cottage cheese with fruit, plus an ounce of grated Parmesan, gives you around 24 grams of high-quality protein and over 2 grams of leucine. That's enough to push your body toward growth instead of decline. But timing is not only about breakfast. It's also about spreading protein evenly across the day. Many older adults follow the light, heavy pattern. Small breakfast, small lunch, huge dinner. Unfortunately, your muscles can't store up excess protein from that one big evening meal. They can only use about 25 to 35 grams at once. Eating 60 grams of protein at dinner doesn't double the benefit. Much of it simply goes unused. This is why the Japanese style of eating offers a lesson. They don't overload on one meal. Instead, they enjoy smaller, balanced meals throughout the day. Rice, miso soup, fish, tofu, and vegetables appear at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Each meal is modest, but protein is always present. The result is steady nourishment, not big spikes and long gaps. For seniors aiming to protect muscle, the same pattern works best. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein at each main meal. It might look like cottage cheese with berries in the morning, a sandwich with ricotta at lunch, and dinner topped with freshly grated Parmesan. This steady rhythm allows your muscles to keep building instead of breaking down. And here's another secret. If you do even light activity, like a 15-minute walk or simple gardening, eat some protein within 2 hours. Your muscles become especially responsive during that window. Pairing movement with protein creates a much stronger effect than either one alone. You don't need heavy exercise and just gentle, consistent movement. Then, let food finish the job. So the real key isn't just what you eat, but when and how you space it out. Think of protein like watering a plant. A steady trickle throughout the day keeps it thriving, while one big flood once a day leaves it struggling. Your muscles are the same. They thrive on balance, timing, and consistency. One of the most common questions I get from seniors is exactly how much cheese and overall protein they should be eating each day. The truth is, your needs depend on your body weight and activity level. Current guidelines suggest that adults over 65 should aim for 1 to 1.2 grams of protein for every kilogram of body weight. Let's break that down simply. If you weigh about 150 pounds, that's roughly 68 kilograms. Multiply that by 1.2, and your daily target comes to around 82 grams of protein. This may sound like a lot, but when you spread it evenly across 3 meals and add in snacks, it becomes manageable. Cheese alone won't cover it all, but it can easily provide a third to half of what you need. For example, half a cup of cottage cheese at breakfast, an ounce of Parmesan at lunch, and a scoop of ricotta at dinner together deliver about 35 to 40 grams of protein. That's nearly half your daily requirement from just these 3 foods. Add fish, beans, or lean meats, and you'll easily reach the rest. The key is to build variety while using cheese as a reliable foundation. Now, let's talk about concerns many people have: calories, fat, sodium, and even cholesterol. Yes, cheese contains fat, but when eaten in the moderate portions we've outlined, the calorie load is quite reasonable, about 300 to 400 calories per day. For most older adults, that's perfectly fine within a balanced diet. The Japanese way of eating reminds us that portion size matters more than fear of certain foods. A little bit each day, enjoyed mindfully, adds strength without excess. Consistency is another factor. The studies that showed the biggest improvements in muscle strength had participants eating cheese every day for at least 2 to 3 months. Think of it less like a treat and more like a daily vitamin. A small serving repeated consistently will support your body far better than large, irregular amounts. But not everyone can tolerate cheese the same way. If you have lactose intolerance, Parmesan is the easiest to digest since it contains almost no lactose after aging. Cottage cheese and ricotta have small amounts, but you can test your tolerance with smaller servings. For those with high blood pressure, be mindful of sodium content. Parmesan naturally has more salt, while ricotta tends to be lower. Cottage cheese varies widely by brand, so low sodium options are best. If you're watching cholesterol, here's some encouraging news. Large studies show that cheese eaten as part of a balanced diet doesn't raise heart disease risk as much as once believed. The main thing is portion control and choosing wisely. Low-fat cottage cheese or part-skim ricotta are great alternatives if you're particularly cautious. There's also the issue of medication. If you're taking blood thinners, keep your cheese intake consistent, because the vitamin K in dairy can interact with those drugs if your intake changes dramatically. And if you have kidney problems, speak with your doctor before significantly increasing protein from any source, cheese included. So, the takeaway is clear. You don't need to overload on cheese, but you should treat it as a steady daily ally. Balance it with vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, much like the Japanese balance rice, vegetables, and fish. Moderation, consistency, and mindfulness. Those are the real secrets to long life and strong muscles. Now let's put all this information together into a practical plan that you can start using today. It's one thing to know which cheeses are helpful, but the real power comes when you make them part of your daily routine. Think of it like building a Japanese-style meal schedule. Balanced, intentional, and repeated every day. Start with breakfast. Within an hour of waking up, have half a cup to a full cup of cottage cheese. Pair it with fresh berries for natural sweetness, or chopped tomatoes and herbs if you prefer savory. This first meal sets the tone for the whole day, giving your muscles what they need after a night of fasting. At lunchtime, bring Parmesan into the picture. Grate an ounce over soup, salad, or even a sandwich. The flavor is rich, so you don't need much, but it adds both protein and calcium. If you want variety, use ricotta instead as a spread or dip with vegetables. This way, you're keeping your protein steady and not leaving a big gap between meals. For dinner, use cheese to boost whatever you're already eating. Mix ricotta into pasta sauce for creaminess and protein. Sprinkle Parmesan over roasted vegetables. Or, if your main dish already has meat or fish, keep the cheese serving small and save it for an evening snack. The Japanese philosophy of moderation applies here too. A little at each meal works better than one oversized serving. Snacks are also a great opportunity. Keep small containers of cottage cheese or pre-portioned ricotta in the fridge. A few bites after light exercise, even just gardening or stretching, can help your muscles recover more effectively. Think of it as fueling your body at just the right moment. Finally, consistency is key. Plan your meals a day in advance. Write down what protein sources you will have at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This small act of planning, much like how the Japanese prepare meals with care and variety, ensures you won't miss your targets. While the research clearly shows that cheese alone can help fight muscle loss, combining it with the right kind of exercise creates something far more powerful. Scientists call this a synergistic effect, where the results are greater than either food or exercise by themselves. For older adults, this is a game changer. The best kind of exercise for muscle is resistance training. Now, don't picture heavy weights or complicated gym machines. Resistance training can be as simple as standing up and sitting down from a chair, pushing against a wall, or using elastic bands. These gentle movements activate your muscles in a safe and controlled way. Studies show that when seniors combine resistance training with protein from foods like cottage cheese, Parmesan, or ricotta within 2 hours after activity, the body responds as if it were much younger. Even people in their 80s can restore a more youthful muscle-building response. That's an encouraging thought. It means it's never too late to benefit. The beauty is that you don't have to exercise every single day. Research suggests that 2 to 3 sessions per week is enough, as long as you also maintain steady protein intake. On the days you don't exercise, your cheese servings still provide protection, keeping your muscles nourished. Everyday activities count too: gardening, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or even sweeping the floor. These movements may seem ordinary, but when paired with good nutrition, they become small acts of strength training. This philosophy matches the Japanese approach to aging. Instead of seeing health as separate workouts and strict diets, they blend movement and food naturally into daily life. Walking to the market, tending a garden, enjoying a balanced meal. These simple rhythms add up over decades. Cheese can slip right into that pattern, supporting your body quietly and consistently. So, the lesson is simple. Don't think of cheese as just a snack, and don't think of exercise as something only athletes do. Together, they're tools to help you maintain independence, strength, and confidence as you grow older. A few mindful habits repeated week after week will carry you much further than any quick fix. While cheese can be a powerful tool for building muscle, there are some important cautions we need to discuss. Everyone's body is different, and certain health conditions require extra attention. Knowing how to adjust your diet wisely will help you get the benefits without unnecessary risks. Let's start with lactose intolerance. This becomes more common as we age, and it can cause bloating or discomfort. The good news is that aged Parmesan has virtually no lactose, so most people tolerate it well. Cottage cheese and ricotta do contain some, but usually in smaller amounts than milk. You can try smaller portions or take lactase enzyme tablets if needed. For those with high blood pressure, sodium is a concern. Parmesan is naturally higher in salt, while ricotta is quite low. Cottage cheese can vary a lot depending on the brand, so reading the label is important. Choosing low-sodium versions or balancing your cheese intake with plenty of fruits and vegetables can make a big difference. This is very similar to the Japanese way of eating, where salty foods like miso are paired with vegetables and rice to keep balance. If you're worried about cholesterol, recent studies bring some relief. Eating cheese in moderation as part of a balanced diet doesn't appear to raise the risk of heart disease as much as people once feared. Portion control is key. Opting for part-skim ricotta or low-fat cottage cheese is a good strategy if you want to lower saturated fat while still getting protein. There's also the issue of medication. If you're taking blood thinners, cheese contains vitamin K, which can affect how those drugs work. The solution is not to avoid cheese altogether, but to eat it consistently, so your doctor can adjust your treatment if necessary. Sudden changes in intake are what cause problems, not steady habits. For people with kidney disease or reduced kidney function, high protein intake may be challenging. In these cases, it's essential to talk to your doctor before increasing protein from cheese or any other source. This is a reminder that food is powerful, but it always needs to be matched with your personal health situation. The bigger lesson is this: no food is good or bad in isolation. What matters is balance, moderation, and consistency. The Japanese diet shows us this principle clearly. They enjoy foods like soy sauce, miso, and pickled vegetables, all salty items, but in small amounts, and always paired with other nourishing foods. Cheese can be the same for us. So don't fear cheese, but use it wisely. Adjust your portions, choose varieties that fit your health, and always listen to how your body responds. That's the real secret to living strong and long. So here's the bottom line. Staying strong and living long isn't about one magic food or a strict diet. It's about small, steady habits, the way the Japanese approach eating and daily life. Adding the right cheeses in moderation, moving your body a little each day, and listening to what feels right for you can truly change the way you age. Think of it as an investment. Every balanced meal, every mindful choice, is like adding one more coin to your health savings account. Start today, keep it simple, and let your strength carry you into the years ahead.